and welcome back to Conversations with the Crew. I am your host for today's show, Jaden.
I'm Carmen.
And I'm Taj.
And today we have a special guest joining us via Zoom. His name is Zach Dressel, Curator for the Earl Scruggs Center in Shelby, North Carolina. Zach, we have a few questions for you, and I'll go first. My first question is, will you share information about the Earl Scruggs Center?
Sure. So the Earl Scruggs Center is a museum located in the old county courthouse for Cleveland County. It's right in the middle of uptown Shelby, and it was started in 2014. It was started as a place to talk about Earl Scruggs, who was a Shelby native and one of the founding fathers of bluegrass, and it talks about his legacy and his life and growing up in Cleveland County. But then we also talk a lot about Cleveland County history in general, and then we further try to create more opportunities through programming and through special exhibitions to kind of broaden our range of what we can offer the public.
Okay. My first question is, how long have you worked at the Earl Scruggs Center, and what exactly does a curator do?
So I've actually only been at the Earl Scruggs Center since April of 2020, so just last year, not even a full year yet. And basically what my job as curator is at the Earl Scruggs Center is I put together exhibitions for our special exhibitions, which we'll be talking probably a little bit more about today. And then also I take care of the exhibitions we have, and I help coordinate programming, and I keep up with our collections, all of our historical objects. And so really, I wear a lot of hats, and I'm also kind of a local historian for Cleveland County now. So I wear a lot of hats at the center, but by and large, just creating content for the museum is pretty much my main job.
Cool.
Okay, my question is, what made you interested in becoming a curator?
Yeah, so I always knew I wanted to do something with history since I was a little kid. I always took to history. It was my favorite subject in school, in middle school, high school. And then when I got to college, I thought I was going to be a high school teacher. And then I started working on my courses for teaching high school, and I decided it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. It wasn't for me. I didn't want to work in a classroom necessarily, but I still wanted to educate. And so museums were kind of the next best thing. And the college I went to, Appalachian State University, had a museum studies program that I entered into. And it just kind of went from there. So I kind of have had this idea that I wanted to be a curator, I guess, for a long time.
Okay, my second question is, can you share what drove your interest to honor local people in the Black community for Cleveland County?
Yeah, so that's a very great question, and it has sort of a long answer, but I'll try to shorten it up. Basically, when I came to Cleveland County and began working on researching local history, I was surprised by how easy it was for me to learn about local history for the white community, but how difficult it was for me to learn about history for the African-American community in and around Cleveland County, different African-American communities in and around Cleveland County. And that made me realize that there was a large gap in what we know and what we're able to bring to the public. And so that was something that I thought that we at the Earl Scruggs Center could help to bring more equality in the history that's taught in Cleveland County. So that way everybody can learn their own stories and their own backgrounds, no matter who you are or where you're from.
Mm-hmm. All right, my last question is there anything that we didn't ask you that you would like to share? Well, I guess Todd is next, but for me.
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to talk about was we actually just finished up a exhibit at the Earl Scruggs Center, a special exhibition on African-American history in Cleveland County. It's on the foundation of different African-American communities in and around Cleveland County, and then how they grew into how they are today. And so in that, we profile a bunch of different leaders in the community, and then we also talk a lot about different places that were a big part of the history of the African-American community and different things like that. And so again, it was a way for us to, as a starting point, start to talk about African-American heritage here in Cleveland County. So that's at the Earl Scruggs Center right now. It's open, and it'll be open until the first week of August. And so we're hoping to get a bunch of people out to see it because we think it's something that's really important, and we're really proud of it. And we're really proud of all the people we've been able to cooperate and collaborate with on making that exhibit. So yeah, that's another big thing for sure.
Okay, my last question is, can you tell us about the latest African-American exhibit at the center?
Well, that was it. I guess I blew that question. Sorry.
Grab another.
Yeah, but what I can tell you is that, like I said, that exhibit is something that we're hoping to build off of in the future and create more projects to help kind of, like I said, create that equality in the historical, I call it creating equality in the historical narrative for Cleveland County, bring more diversity into the stories we're telling in our museum, and then the stories we bring to the public, which I think is really important. And, so we have some more exciting things on the horizon, I think, and I'm really looking forward to it. And so, we're working really hard, and it's been really great so far since I've moved to Shelby.
All right. Thank you for sharing what looks like an exciting career. Now it's time for today's top 3. Today we will share our top 3 African-American historical figures. Also share one thing about one of the 3 persons you named. Zach, you can go first.
Yeah, so I need to name top 3, right?
Yeah, and then one of them you say why you chose that one.
Okay, so what I thought is, since I'm a historian and since I've been studying African-American history since I got into college, I thought I would talk about some of the people who I learned about when I was in college, when I was studying the history of slavery, which was something I studied really heavily in college. And so all 3 of these people are people who either were born into slavery, well, they all were born into slavery, but some of them escaped slavery before slaves were granted their freedom, and one of them ended up gaining his freedom after the Civil War. So I'll start with a person named Harriet Jacobs. She was an enslaved woman who actually escaped from North Carolina to the north. And she wrote a autobiography in 1861 to try and help slaves gain their freedom by publicizing some of the things that were going on in her life as a slave, an enslaved woman. And so that book's called Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. And it was one of the first slave narratives I ever read. And it really changed the way that I thought about slavery. And it really made it seem a lot more personal. And it humanized it a little bit more. And that's what really kind of got my interest into the subject. And then the second person is another individual who escaped and gained their freedom through escaping to the north, and that's Frederick Douglass, who I think is more of a household name. And he was another one who escaped to the north, gained his freedom, wrote an autobiography about his life as a slave, and became an abolitionist, trying to gain freedom for all the slaves. And then he went on to have a major political career. And then the final one, like I said, he was born into slavery, and that's Booker T. Washington, which is another household name, I think. And, he went on to be a major politician, and then, but he was born into slavery. And so those are, I guess, my top 3.
All right, I guess I'll go next. So my first one is Angela Bassett. And then my second one is, of course, Michelle Obama. And then my third one is Leslie Odom Jr. And I chose Leslie Odom Jr. because I'm very big in the whole musical and theater realm. And it's just really nice to see a Black person, I guess, or someone that looks like me in a lead role, in a very important role. And it's just very inspiring. And I love that. So.
All right. My top three is Kobe Bryant, Jackie Robinson, and Muhammad Ali. The person I chose the most is Kobe Bryant because I see him, as a coach sometimes because he coaches his daughter's basketball team for the Mama Mentality basketball team. And he also has so much passion of talking to helping other people becoming better players, better superstars. And that inspired me because I played soccer and I played basketball. And that gave me the chance to just, keep pushing and keep going and never stop doing what I'm doing right now because this is one of my biggest goals and dreams. And I will always live up to him in his memory. And, that's basically why Kobe will always be honored as somebody that is a great person and a great coach and a great player back in the old days, even if I never knew. So, yeah.
Okay, my top three, I did Martin Luther King, Harriet, and then Rosa Parks. And the one I'll talk about is Martin Luther King. And he's more common, but I really chose him because of how brave he was, because to put yourself in that situation, especially around that time when racial tension was really bad, and to do what he did, it showed that he had a lot of bravery and he was very determined to get people to see his side of the story and how it really was for him and African Americans at that time. And for him to just keep going and doing that and pushing forward, it shows he had a lot of courage and bravery, and I just like that. Thank you guys for sharing. It is essential to know those who paved the way for us all. Now it is time for today's challenge. Today we will be playing a game, that TV show theme. Mr. Gilmore will play the TV show theme and we will try to guess the title. The first one to get 3 of them correct wins. Okay, here we go.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can.
Okay, Taj's hand went up first.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, boo!
That was
Okay, here we go. And Zach's hand went up.
With the Jetsons?
You got it right. Did you?
wow.
I'm not that old. I'm not much older than you guys, I promise.
Okay, here we go. How about this one?
Tony Stark makes you feel he's the cool exec with a heart of steel.
Iron Man.
Well, never mind. It said the name of the song in there.
I thought that was like the fireman.
All right, here we go. Here's
Yeah, I
another.
was gonna get the point.
Hang on. Okay, let's do this one. Carmen?
Flintstones?
That is correct.
Yes, sir.
I ain't got no point.
Okay. All right, here we go. Here's the next one.
Rugrats?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lose a point.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna continue. Here we go.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show.
Oh, well. The mo- okay, here we go. Here's another. Too late. Put your hand down. Here we go.
Wanna be the very best.
Is it Pokemon?
It's Pokemon. So you get a point back.
Golly, I was gonna say that.
Don't blame me because it's not the original one.
Yeah.
The original one? Oh, okay.
It's a different version. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, 'cause that was not the same. Like,
Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all.
Sunny day, sweeping.
Carmen, Sesame Street, you are correct.
Oh,
yeah, I got 2 points.
All right. I'm gonna have to get another playlist from somewhere. Hang on.
Huh.
Oh no, okay, here's one. God, I don't know. Y'all might not get this stuff.
Is that me? Did I get in first?
Yes, you did.
It's Woody the Woodpecker.
You are correct. Woody the Woodpecker. All right.
I'm going outside.
Okay. And
Jaden is
I
down.
tried to
I'm
find
starting to feel bad because I'm getting all the old ones, even though I watched all of those cartoons too. I watched SpongeBob growing up.
how about this one? That would be Zach.
Is that Rescue Rangers? Chippendale Rescue Rangers?
Oh, correct.
That's a deep cut. Now I am starting to show my age a little bit.
We have a winner.
That was a 90s one. That's a deep cut.
Well, we have a winner, and it is Zach Dressel. Let's all give him a hand.
Yo.
Zach will get your $5 to you at some point. Okay.
I'm in it for the bragging rights, I guess.
Congratulations. We'll get you a burger.
Hey, there you go.
$5, nothing. Yeah. All right. So I'm ducking back out. Continue. Thank you.
Well,
All right. That was fun. But before we go, I have a scripture I would like to share with you. Today's scripture is Nehemiah 8:10, and it says, "Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength." Thanks for watching Conversations with the Crew today.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And be sure to click the bell so that you receive a notification every time we post original content.
and we would like to thank Zach Dressel from the Earl Scruggs Center for joining us today.
And we hope to see you next time on Conversations with the Crew.
Crew.